everyone. Hello, Facebook, I should say. I am Erin Yarborough. I'm the Director of Marketing at Ideal Homes and Neighborhoods. We are based out of Norman, Oklahoma. We build all over Oklahoma, Oklahoma City Metro, Stillwater, and maybe some special news we can share today, too. Today, I have with us is Cheli Porter, and
Mhm.
she is one of our sales managers at Ideal Homes and Neighborhoods. And Cheli is going to talk to us a little bit today. I like to think of like the mother of all things uh, cost and cost savings by buying new homes. And so I wanted to bring Cheli on today so that she could tell us a little bit about what it means to buy a new home and kind of what that total cost of ownership looks like. So, Cheli, do you want to give us a rundown of your history at Ideal Homes before we get started?
Sure. So thanks and welcome. Hello, Facebook. It's good to have some time with you today because I know there's a lot of talk out there in the market today about, is it a good time to buy a home? And I'm just going to tell you right now, the answer is yes. It's always a great time to buy a home, especially now. And I'll give you a lot of reasons as we go through this, but we want to talk about the total cost of home ownership because a lot of times when you're thinking about buying a home, the only thing that you see or that you're really thinking about is that big number, that big price. Where you see the price tag, and everybody's starting to flip out a little bit because we're not used to what's been going on in Oklahoma. But it's all going to be okay. When we talk total cost of homeownership, though, we want to break it down for you because there's a lot involved in it. And we want to talk to you about where you live, which is your monthly cost. And that's where your affordability really is. It's not that big number unless you're one of the blessed people that actually has the cash and you're just going to come out and you're going to say, I'll write a check for it. Most people, over 85% of people, are going to actually,
Yeah.
not you, wasn't me either. We're actually going to, finance that. And so we want to go over some of those numbers with you and show you why a new home is actually going to save you money monthly.
I love to hear that. That's fantastic. I know, Cheli, you've been talking about this for years, not just in this
Mhm.
market. And I know that things have changed a lot in the last 6 months, 2 years. I mean, things have changed a lot over the last few years in housing.
Yeah,
Um, so, can I just kick it off with a question? Would that be okay?
absolutely.
Okay. So, we hear a lot of times from customers that buying a pre-owned home or a used home is more affordable, but that's not necessarily always the case, is it?
It is not always the case. And I come from a background of actually selling the new homes, and I've done that for, over 12 years. And so sitting down with people and helping them understand that monthly cost, because that's where they're going to live. And a lot of people think just because it's used, it's going to be less expensive, it's going to be cheaper. And it's not the case because when we sit down and we talk about, so how much have you budgeted for your utilities? You've
Right.
got gas and electric and all of those kinds of things that are going to come into play. And then also, if you're buying a used home, nobody talks to you and nobody wants to talk about how much are you saving each month for repairs? Because even though you have one of those inspections, I know several people that have moved in a week after their inspections, and one of the major systems or something is gone kaput and they didn't catch it in inspection. They've closed on the house and there's really nothing they can do at that point.
Right.
So you've got your cost of your home, yes. But when you factor in that, and then in addition to that, part of your monthly payment is your insurance. That's rolled into that monthly payment. And a lot of people don't realize, and this is coming from an insurance person that I spoke to, that you're actually paying 2 to 4 times more for insurance on your home if
Oh,
it's a used home. Newer homes save you monthly because your homeowner's insurance is going to be a lot less.
interesting. Okay, that's great to know. Now, you mentioned a couple of things. So there's utilities and things like that. And insurance. Are those the two major things that go into that when you're looking at total cost of ownership? Are those the biggest two things when you think about that?
They really are because when you're talking, I've got a payment calculator that I would work with, and all of our new home consultants work with it. And we would show someone where when they buy a new home, because of your warranties and your energy efficiency and the guarantees that we have on that energy efficiency and the lower insurance, if you take a used home that's $20,000 less, $20,000 less, which is the big number that everybody looks at, your payments with the exact same interest rate are almost exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Awesome.
And that doesn't even factor into the amount of repairs that you might need to be saving for. I mean, think about some of your big systems. Those are going to be thousands of dollars. So, are you adding an extra $300 or $400 a month to put into a repair budget when something big does happen? Because it's inevitably going to happen. Because the problem is you have no idea how the person or persons before you took care of that home.
Right. Yeah. And I've even seen, some people are buying pre-owned ideal homes. And
Mhm.
even though those have fantastic systems and things like that, I know you've told me before that we just don't know how the previous owners took care of those systems and if they called in warranty items and had things serviced and all of those things.
Exactly. And that is a little bit scary because not knowing how somebody took care of it means that, yes, it may only be a few years old, but it may not have been serviced or it may have been overrun or not taken care of. And you are going to have to replace it sooner than you think you will.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Now, I also want to say out to everybody, if you guys have questions or comments or just want to chime into the conversation, please send us some comments on Facebook and we'll gladly answer your questions as we're talking. Now, we've talked several times about, okay, things can go wrong. And especially if you're moving into a pre-owned used home, that there's really no kind of warranty in there. Can you talk a little bit about the warranties that we offer and
Mhm.
how those can really save a lot of money?
So we offer a 2-year warranty, and the first year is a true builder's warranty, basically almost a bumper to bumper. And then the second year is your major mechanical systems, your AC, HVAC, all of those kinds of things. And so we're going to come in and we have a dedicated customer care system. There are people in that department that's their only job is to follow up with you, and not just follow up with you, but come and meet with you before you close on your home and teach you things that you probably would have never known. My ideal home was, I think, the third home that I had owned, and I never knew I was supposed to be draining my hot water tank once a year. And I learned things that I had never been taught before about how to take care of my stuff. And so they're going to be there before and they're going to be there after for that 2 years, taking care of you. And you have a contact with us, and they're going to get in touch with the people who have built your home and are familiar with the way our systems work and our energy efficiency and everything works, and get those people out to you. And a lot of people argue with me when we talk about used versus new. And yes, you can buy a home warranty on a used home. You're exactly right. But I have close personal friends, I have family members that have that, and they have had so much trouble getting them out there. It has been weeks without part of their system or their air during the summer or something like that before they can even get somebody out there, only to
Right.
find out that they have to wait another few weeks to order the part because they won't just replace it or do the right thing or do something. So it's a huge difference, that peace of mind that just a new home's going to offer you.
Yeah, I like to call it kind of that peace of mind warranty. I know my husband and I are not exactly the most handy people all the time, only in projects that sound fun to me. And, fixing like an AC unit doesn't sound fun to me. So,
Oh, I
uh,
know.
buying new was extremely important to us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And with the energy efficiency, I'm just going to, outside of the warranties, the energy efficiency, when we ask people how much you're budgeting for your utilities, I'll tell you my story. I went from a home that I bought brand new. It wasn't an ideal home because it was way before that I worked here or even knew about us. And I knew how I took care of that home. And I'm pretty meticulous about that stuff. But after 12 to 15 years, things were having to be replaced and my bills were pretty outrageous. And when I moved into my ideal home, it was 600 square feet larger than my last home. And my bills, my utility bills were literally a third of what they were in my other.
Wow.
So I was saving a lot of money and I just couldn't believe it. I'd been preaching it for so long, but I was finally able to live it and I loved it. It was a huge savings. It really is.
So, can you tell us a little bit about something that we are known for as the only home builder in Oklahoma to do this, but we actually guarantee our heating and cooling costs. Can you speak to that a little bit for our audience?
Absolutely. We partner with a company called Environments for Living. And what they do is they go through all of our processes and our designs and everything, and they give us a usage amount that home's going to cost at certain usage. Now, when you come in, we're going to talk dollar numbers, but it's more about the usage. So it's more about the amount that you're going to use, but it's very specific. We have to use specific size ductwork going from one place to another. We can't just use whatever's on the pickup truck and bring it in and make it okay and make it fit. We have to use everything to their specifications. And in addition to that, we also have another third party company called Guaranteed Watt Saver come out and do additional, even more than required by code, way above what's required,
Mhm.
inspections, like at the installation, to make sure that everything's tight, that everything fits just right. We use and do a lot that's behind the walls, underneath the slab, and do everything over and above. And yes, you can walk in any home, and most of the time it's going to be beautiful. But in a couple of years, that granite countertop isn't going to matter as much if your utility bills are $400 and $500 every single month, and you can't
Yeah.
afford to live there, and you're replacing things. What's going to matter down the road is how the home is built, not just how beautiful it is. And it's hard for people to think about that when they're buying a home.
Yeah, because you walk in and you can see that granite countertop
Right.
and you see those
Right.
beautiful cabinets,
Yes.
but like you said, you can't always see what's behind the walls,
Yes.
and that's why those guarantees are so important. Now,
They really
um,
are.
now let's also talk about, we can't forget that 10-year warranty either
Mhm.
on foundation, because I know living in Oklahoma, that's a real concern for people is foundation. And I know that they can inspect that on a used home, but
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that 10-year warranty.
So we offer a 10-year structural warranty on anything load bearing. And so what that does is that gives you a little peace of mind because I mean, we're building on red dirt out here and you know how that goes. I actually just spoke to a friend this last weekend who had bought a brand new home and within 3 years was having to put about 25 piers on that.
Wow.
And it was crazy how much separation there was, how
Mhm.
much problems there were, the brick was changing, and it was a new construction, so she thought she was safe, and unfortunately, they didn't have the structural warranty, so they
Yes.
had to go in and do it themselves, and with the structural warranty, they will come in and the engineers will check everything out, and if things need to be done, they're gonna take care of that, and there's an additional benefit with that 10-year warranty is if you have to move or you wanna move up or you're stationed somewhere different in the next 5 years, that's actually a transferable warranty that you can offer to your new homeowner as you're selling your home. So that's a benefit as well.
That's fantastic, especially because even as well built as our homes are, sometimes we just can't guess what that red clay is going to do. So
Absolutely.
that's great. Um, okay, so now you've talked a little bit about that $20,000 and that cost calculator that you kind of
Mhm.
use. Um, you talked about the monthly payments and savings and things like that. What do homeowners get recommended? Do you know what homeowners get recommended to save if they're moving into a used home, save monthly in order to save up for repairs or things like that?
Here's the thing, I don't think anybody's recommending that they save anything for repairs,
Oh yeah,
and
that's hard.
that concerns me. I mean, that's one of those things that your garage door, something's gonna happen, or a spring is going to pop off, or something's gonna happen, or the windows or the HVAC, and people aren't saying they're like, "We can afford this, we can get more house for our money," is what we hear all the time.
Yep.
But can you? Like, are you saving up for all those things? Because
Right.
I don't know very many people that are saying, "Hey, yeah, budget this, but also budget another 3, 4, $500 a month just in case something happens." Most people are, tapping out with everything that they're putting down on that home, and then their monthly cost is where they think their affordability is. They don't have that extra. So that's what
Right.
concerns me. It just doesn't that discussion isn't had.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
Mhm.
Um, I know that another thing that it's scaring customers right now or homeowners right now, even into thinking about buying a new home, is the idea of interest rates. That is something that everybody's freaked out about right now. Lots of talk on the news and things like that. What about buying right now with interest rates so high?
That's funny. I hear a lot about that. I hear a lot of media talk. I hear a lot of people talk, but
Oh,
what's also very interesting is most people who are realtors are realizing we're getting back more into what we consider a normal market.
okay,
If you look at the last 30 years, it's been way above where it is now. And where we were the last 3 years is kind of an unheard of thing that I don't think we're going to get back to.
right,
But one of the things people need to consider is now is always the best time to buy a home. And I'll tell you why, is everybody's considering that this is a very high interest rate. But
hmm
consider this. I don't know if you've ever heard to marry the home and date the rate. And basically what that means is the home, number one, if you found the perfect home, why would you want to wait? Because then everything's going to be compared to that and you're going to have to pick your second favorite. And nobody wants to settle.
Nobody wants
Nobody
that.
wants to settle.
No,
But so the home, and then prices could keep increasing. Even though some of the items have started to come down, labor prices have increased. There's other things that are happening, and we're just still in an unsure era with that. So the same home could, I want to wait. I want to save $10,000 more. 10,000 is not going to make that big of a difference, especially if the price continues to increase and your
right,
affordability becomes less. But as far as interest rates are concerned, yes, go buy a house because there's one of three things that could happen. Your interest rates could fall, and
right.
if they fall, you can refinance and get the lower rate. If they don't fall, then you're building equity. And that's the highest percentage that you're going to get on anything. And I checked, and I think since March of 2020, home prices have actually there's more equity in homes. They've increased more than 38%. And there's no bank out there where you can put that money in there and get 38%
How much?
return.
Right.
So you can lower your rate by refinancing. You can build equity because you've already bought it. But if rates continue to rise, which they could, that's a possibility. You've also hedged that inflation that could be happening by fixing in your house payment and knowing exactly what it's going to be. If you continue to rent, more than likely your rent's going to keep going up. If you're paying somebody else, everybody says that's 100% interest right there if you're paying somebody else's mortgage. So why not pay your own and consider that as a great investment? So, yes, go buy a house now. Don't wait. Don't wait.
I remember, we have friends that were buying a house, let's say 4 months ago, and they were, so nervous because it's at the top. At the time, it was at the top of the interest rates from the
Mhm,
past few years, and they were so nervous, but they had to move, and so they did
mhm,
it, even though they were nervous. And now they are just so thankful that they bought when they did because now it's higher. The interest
mhm.
rates are higher, and they feel pretty good about that
Yes,
decision.
yes, absolutely. And sometimes everybody's like, if there's not a need, I should wait. Well, what are you waiting for? What
Right.
happens if prices increase? What happens if interest rates increase? Then you've waited so long that you may have priced yourself out of the home that you would have loved.
Right. And
Mhm.
now Ideal Homes and Neighborhoods is also helping people with those interest rates. Can you talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about those incentives we're offering?
We are offering, I think we've calculated it, and depending on the home, depending on where you're at, up to $25,000 in closing costs and special financing offers and price reductions. I mean, there's a lot going on right now. We see the market, we see some of the consumer confidence that's not quite where it should be. We know that people still need to move, and we know there's still a low inventory of available homes. So we're doing what we can to help you into a home by paying part of your closing costs and helping you with the special financing, doing some buy downs on your points or doing some special stuff like a 2-1 where it's 2% lower the first year and 1% lower the second year, and then where it is now instead of where the market would be the third year. So there's a lot of things we can do to help. And so I just, urge everyone, go talk to one of our new home consultants and they'll get you with our lenders and they will go over all the options to see what fits you best.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you mentioned some price reductions. I know that some of our communities have some incredible pricing right now because we've been able to pass those savings along to our customers. And so
Mhm.
I know that customers sometimes are worried about, paying the most for a home at the top of the market, but
Mhm.
it's really not the case right now.
It
So,
really isn't, and like I said, it's so funny to me when I hear all of the conversations and the media just seems to put that fear out there, and I just wanna make sure everybody knows it's still a great time to buy a home, and
yeah.
buying a new home is going to save you money, and it's hard to think of when you're looking at that big number, but where you live is monthly, and that's where we're gonna save you money over the long haul.
Mhm. All right, last thing before I let you go. Uh,
Okay.
we've talked a little bit, told people a little bit that we're maybe coming to Tulsa soon. But we are ready to announce where we're going and where that community is located. Would you be willing to share that with us?
I would love to. We are going to be opening, more than likely in January of 2023 in Bixby, Oklahoma. And we will have a community directly across the street from Bixby. Is it intermediate or middle school? I'm not exactly sure which way they call it, but
Intermediate.
it's directly across from that intermediate school. And it is a beautiful community. And we're going to do it up the way we do our communities here. We're going to have beautiful parks and common areas. So it's just going to be a really neat space. And we're excited to start our journey up there. And I'll just tease you a little bit and say it's just a beginning start as we open up in Bixby. But we're excited. I'll actually be up there next week doing some scouting and talking to some people up there. So yeah, I'm excited.
We are thrilled to be coming to Tulsa. We've wanted this for a long time, and this was just like the perfect opportunity.
Mhm.
And like Shelley said, well, this isn't going to be our only foray into Tulsa, but keep an eye out for those announcements coming soon. And Shelley, is there anything else that you wanted to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
No, but I'll just tell you, I mean, this is December 1st, and the best gift you could give yourself is a new home because it's not just a house, it's a home, and it's the place you're going to make all your memories with your family. So we would love to partner with you and help you create the memories that you desire. So let us help you. Give us a call, get on our website, however you need to do it. We're here to help.
Thank you so much, Shelley. And we hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week. And please let us know if you have any questions. I know we'd be happy to go over with you very specific information on total cost of ownership.
Mhm.
Our team would love to talk to you guys about that. And so let us know if you guys are ready to start looking. Bye,
Mhm.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.